League of Legends coaching will help you get past plateaus, expand your understanding, and become a stronger player. To purchase coaching, check below the video. Hey, here's the game on Rell where finally I didn't W into the enemy and instantly die. So, I'm playing Rell Kai'Sa into Jhin and Maokai. Maokai with no Aftershock, so that gives me a pretty good advantage over him. I like to start W, so I can W the minions, and then it gives you the shield. That's really all you can do on this champion level 1 anyways. Your Q is doing nothing, and the E is doing even less. So here, I also get a flip, so you basically get 2 abilities level 1, and that's an okay trade. That exhaust really sucked. It's whatever. The Guardian Shield blocking the Q damage, doing a lot more than Aftershock would have. So because Jhin has Time Warp Tonic boots and heal, I didn't get to land that W, but honestly it's fine. So from this state, the lane's okay. Where most players are going to go wrong is overdoing it and... Hey, can I have my thing? They're going to be overdoing it by trying to like stay and hit the minions pretty randomly, rather than rather than just backing up. So whenever you've lost the push to level 2, just let the wave come into you. Especially champions like Rell Kai'Sa, you don't really come online until like level 3, level 4. So just wait for level 3 and level 4. Don't do anything. And if you're not doing anything, then your lane ally probably isn't doing anything either, which is the best case scenario for you guys. You can look for some cheeky things like right here. Kind of like an Alistar, you have like a flash in opportunity. So where I'm dismounted, I can use my W to remount and then get the flip on Jhin. And if he's in turret range, like maybe we have a kill if he's lower, or if he doesn't have flash or something like that. But in this case, it would be not good. You also get more armor in MR when you're in the armored form, so it's not really worth for me to transform. And if I stay in this form, there's not really a downside. I take less damage, so if the Jhin hits me, it's only good because it slows their push. So if they were to crash this next wave faster, then they'd be able to recall. But if Jin's hitting me, it slows that whole process down. If I remount, the extra movement speed doesn't do anything. And I also lose the threat of the flip from the remount, so yeah. Level 2, I like to get E, bind my ally, and then again, you have that opportunity to flip the enemy into a stun. In this case, since the wave's coming into us, we don't really have that. I'll tank the sapling for Kai'Sa. The damage isn't going to stick on me as much as it will on Kai'Sa. With Jhin, it's a very annoying lane because he can just always Q the minions, so where you're so slow, if you're not like last hitting with the relic shield, there's really just no reason to do anything other than just like AFK, you know, around the minions. Because I would have to be positioned like right here, and then by the time, like since I'm the slowest champion in the game, like I would have to move up and then auto attack, and then I'm taking like 3 or 4 auto attacks. So Jin's a pretty weird, annoying matchup for Rell. The movement speed makes your W harder to land, which isn't the end of the world. It's really more up to your allies. And in this case, I have Olaf and I have Shin to bind my E to, because mid to late game, you need to look at Rell as a support, not as like an engaged champion. You're not playing Alistar, you're not playing, I don't know, Galio, you're not playing champions like that, in which you're the champion that goes in and engages things. You're a support that helps your allies do that through offering CC through them. So if I bind my E to Olaf and he runs into 5 champions, and then I use my E, that's going to stun all 5 champions. And then I can follow up with my mounted W, in which case I'll land a knock-up on them, and then I can use my ult, which is going to pull all the enemies towards me. And then there's the Q, which deals like 50 damage. So great things, great things. Okay, so whenever the Maokai walks away, I'll always look for opportunities if the ADC's like not paying attention. Whenever you can catch like the enemy bot lane like off sync, you can get like huge advantages. It kind of sucks when you're playing like range supports that can't do it as well because they don't have like immediate punish. But if Jhin was to like move forward even a little bit, I would immediately just W. I would remount, flash, and then auto attack E, and Jin's probably dead from there. because like if Maokai is spending too much time warding or doing other random things as support players do, like you can look to exploit that. Oh yeah, this game's in like Grandmaster or Challenger North America, somewhere around there. I played it 4 days ago or something. So here I'm looking to like hit the minions so that I thin out the wave just a little bit, so we can have the wave in our control versus not, because our level 3 is so much stronger than them. So if we get control of the wave, get level 3 faster, then we can start zoning them, and then if the enemy missteps, then we can look to just all in them. Okay, so I remount, I W, and then I E. This is going to stun both of them, and then that's my entire kit. What's very unfortunate is that this melee minion has like 1 HP, so I don't get level 3 and I don't get Q. Like... Okay, so now I have Q. Auto attack, Q. Close. Imagine if that Q is applied. If that Q is applied, maybe the armor difference matters or something, but who knows. Regardless, this is a winning lane state. We got Jhin Flash. We got support Flash. A classic 80-30 AD support. So by 80-30, we might be level 6. We probably won't be, but it's not really about killing them from like that timestamp, because if we have their flashes, it's going to give us more lane control, like generally. And if we have more lane control, then we're going to be able to do more for the Olaf, and all Olaf wants to do is full clear and get the dragons. So with TF mid lane and the enemy bot lane not having flashes, we're set up for that first dragon, baby. We did it. Now the lane state's a bit weird because our Olaf's topside. Evelyn died top lane if we go back a little bit. This skirmish, like look at the mini-map now, this skirmish is happening top lane. And then Evelyn dies, she has a 10-second death timer as our all-in is happening. Okie doke. So Evelyn is respawned, it's 3:30. Generally it takes champions about 25 seconds to get back onto the map, like halfway, or to get back to like here, so like on their side of the map. So we have to play around Evelyn in about 20 seconds in the bot lane, and since Kai'Sa's low, it makes the lane state somewhat awkward, but we have Olaf coming down, so Olaf's going to go through mid. Somehow Twisted Fate is getting pushed in by Zed. That's not supposed to happen. But Olaf's going to come through there, and then Kai'Sa and me can push this wave, and then Kai'Sa can reset. That's completely fine. They can't do anything to stop it. And then I can move into the river with Olaf, and if Evelyn comes... Woo! Evelyn's getting banned from there. So that's what we do. Since Olaf spends so much time in the mid lane, I'm not really playing for the river, and instead I'm playing for this overstay because the enemy bot lane has the option. I'm asking them right now, do you want to push out the next wave? And if they say yes, they're going to eat it. They're going to have to survive my full rotation. So let's see what they do. Slow it down a little bit. Okay, great move by Maokai throwing a sapling. Okie doke. And then we can leave the wave right here. Honestly, if I was Faker times 1,000, I would have moved the sapling into the wave a little bit, but since I pull the wave like this, if it targets the one minion, this one minion takes more damage, and this makes the wave push towards just a little faster. So Kai'Sa goes for a recall. I'm going to look to stop the enemy base, if I can. And so far, so good on the laning phase. I'm running magical footwear, so I don't get boots. I don't think boots are really that important in the early game for this champion. I'm also playing a bit more for lane. So, and against the Maokai, you don't have to worry about matching his roams or anything like that. So I go for Ruby Crystal since it's a mixed damage lane. If it was mostly magic or mostly physical, then probably just get a cloth armor. Or the no magic mantle, like accordingly. But the Ruby Crystal is just your best, the best bang for your buck early. You also have percentage max health scaling on your W. Okie doke, so once again, the wave's coming into us. I want to thin out the wave a little bit, that's why I go for the Q. I can't like really dedicate my W, because if I W into the wave here, I'm going to end up like taking too much damage if Maokai is here, so I don't want to do that. And this is what a failure of a Rell looks like. But in hindsight, it's not that bad. Get the caster minion. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. We could have held all of these minions. But it's fine. Okay, this is like a super overreach by me trying to go onto the Jhin, but Maokai W's me. Maokai has no aftershock. So let's watch this in slow-mo. I get the flip on him. I use my E to stun, and then I auto attack. 1741 on the auto attack damage, and then Q. This is going to heal me for a bit, and then also apply the armor shred to him again, and then it's kind of all Kaisa. Okay, so then I exhaust the Jhin, go for the W, auto attack, Q. And if Kaisa was better, he would just be looking for the auto here because, well, I mean, Rell's a new champion. Like, who's going to be playing around their their Rell doing well and then also like overreaching a little bit like this? But Kaisa could kill Jhin in 2 autos here. But this is why I really like exhaust on this champ. Ignite, like I said before, you're not Alistar. It's not your duty to kill the enemy champion. Rell excels by providing so much CC for her team, and exhaust is just another form of CC. So if you can't hit the enemy with your knock-up, your flip, your E, or your ult, you can just exhaust them and they deal less damage. So you have so many ways to like ruin the enemy, and that's what Rell's good at. So, I exhaust him, and then that guarantees my knockup. But unfortunately, we didn't have enough damage. Okie doke, and then we get TP'd on. Somehow Shin couldn't stop the TP, it's whatever. And then we're gonna die instantly. But in preseason solo queue, I think an overreach like that is worth a shot, just to see what happens. It's not the best macro play because obviously Vladimir was in a position to TP, and I wasn't watching top lane at all. I was really just like, can we do this? That's the extent of that. Okay, so we die. By consequence, though, we get a good position on the dragon because the enemy Vladimir recalls, doesn't have TP, and then we have TF ult, and then also Shin ult. Olaf, we love him. Do those auto attacks, man. Oh, beast mode. Anyways. We invade blue, we leave, we take dragon. Rell's pretty good at doing dragon with her allies. It's not so important with Olaf to tank the dragon, but you can W the dragon and then use your shield to tank it. I also max W on Rell. I don't know what people are thinking maxing Q, but maxing W gives you a bigger shield, and that's it. That's the most important part, to have that bigger shield, because if you don't have the big shield, you die instantly. The extra damage on the Q doesn't matter. The lower cooldown on the Q doesn't matter until mid to late game. So I would really recommend maxing W. And then maxing E is easily your worst. See how the dragon deals very little damage to me? Isn't that neato? Okay, back to the laning phase. Wait, what the hell is happening here? Spoilers. So Twisted Fate asks for assistance going back to lane. Maokai tries to get him. He blue cards him. Wow, awesome stuff here. Okay, so then I Q. I'm binded to TF at this point, so my Q will heal him. And then I E. It's whatever. And then Zed probably kills, or Vladimir kills him. Back in the bot lane, here to stand still, bind to my ally, move up the lane, and ask Jhin, do you want to die? He's going to say no. There's not a whole lot of gameplay here. Okay, never mind. I guess Jhin said yes. Spoilers. Okay. So Jhin spins the trap in the bush. He moves too far forward for this minion. You always have to look at the minions that are on your side, not just be like blanketly staring at the enemy. And when this minion's low, I move forward. I ask Jhin, do you want to die? In this case, he says, I want to die for about 20-something gold. So I land. You can cast your E during the jump too. So I cast my dick-shaped knock up here, and then that's going to knock up Jin and also stun him. Auto attack, Q, and once again, not enough damage. But if Kaisa, whoa! If Kaisa just throws that W not into a minion. And then my goal is to crash this wave here, but it doesn't look like we can do that. Ay. So, this is kind of a classic overstay, asking Jin if he stays, then he dies. Since he doesn't stay, I pinged to push out the wave. Since Maokai already walked into the river, and there was really no threat of mid lane or jungle at the time. Okie doke, so I recall, and then I have Ruby Crystal, No Magic Mantle, and Cloth Armor, and I'm very, very tanky from this point. If you're playing Rell and solo queue, like, go ahead and run Bone Plating instead of Conditioning. Like, at higher MMR, it's fine to run Conditioning because laning phases are going to be so stagnant. But in solo queue in general, Bone Plating is going to be giving you more value in the early game. And if you're playing to learn Rell as well, like you have to do a lot of inting. You have to W into the enemy and miss it completely and die instantly. You have to do that, and if you're doing that, Bone Plating is going to help you survive a little bit more when you shouldn't, but it helps. And where I have Ruby Crystal, No Magic Mantle, and Cloth Armor, that gives me a whole lot of tankiness from this stage of the game. Whoa! Doke. So successful, like, random roam top lane doesn't really matter. So we're back in the bot lane. We're like in a farming phase. We're kind of waiting for Olaf. We're waiting for Olaf because he wants to reset, and then he can get his camps and either farm up towards top side or look for bot lane play, or even look to move into the enemy bot lane. So we want to keep the wave about right here. Twisted Fate doesn't have ult, so it's a really like neutral time. So here's an example of how to use your W like a cool kid. And when your flash is up, your flash is borderline useless on this champion. So as you're playing around the minions, you can dismount just to eat the sapling damage. You can dismount just to like do it so that you have the flip. Rell's looking kind of cool. Remember the spears from games like Samurai Warriors, games like Monster Hunter? I really liked the spear in those games, but it always felt weird. It always felt like you were hitting them with a noodle or something instead of like a spear. Okey-doke. So I'm waiting for my remount. Okay, and then right here, you have to play like as the cooldown is coming up. So as it's coming up, I click towards the Jin, and since Jin was clicking towards me so heavily, because like if you played a kite, like this champion doesn't move. If I'm clicking away, even though I just did it like in this game, this champion movement speed sucks. So you might as well just stand still, staring at the enemy. You might like click once to turn your character around so that the enemy might feel better like running towards you, but literally just stand still and then like have your cursor towards them at the time that you'd be looking for the W flash. So W, flash, E, ult, Q, baby. And then block the Maokai ult, and then Kaisa can ult in. And it's GG from there. Finally, Jin dies when he should. Okie doke. Boom, baby. My champion doesn't do anything. But it looked cool. So that's how you kill in lane. The enemy doesn't know what your W does, and then you W flash on them. Because your flash doesn't do anything else other than that, basically. You can maybe flash E, but that sucks, so don't do that. Doke. Not a whole lot happens here. The enemy bot lane dies again to random ganks. And now we have an actual scenario here. So Olaf is looking for a dive. I bind to the Olaf, and then I E, but Maokai dodges that with his W, and then I buffer my W, which is like super unlucky. By super unlucky, I mean super bad by me. Why did I not expect his W? So then this dive is stagnated. Evelyn shows up. I try to ult to like get Evelyn on me, but I don't have the range because Maokai Qs me, so good on him. And then I use my exhaust and then flip Q Evelyn, but it's not enough to save the Kai'Sa. So this play goes super wrong because Olaf has no business diving this. I mean, hindsight, 1 million. But if you look at the map here, we already killed Jhin. So just do the dragon, Olaf. Just do the dragon. You crazy guy, you big crazy Viking, you big dumb fucking idiot. So I have Locket. Locket in combination with exhaust and your own shield is going to give you and your allies a lot of survivability. Great item. I think Locket into Redemption, not even completing tier 2 boots unless you really need it. Tier 2 boots on this champion is like a very precise thing where if you are super ahead, they could be useful, and if you're super behind, they could be useful. But if the game's more even or if you're ahead, I think it's way better to just go for a second completed support item because the support items are so cheap and they're pretty effective. So if I have Locket and Redemption at like 22 minutes, I would rather have that than have Ninja Tabby at like 15 or 17, you know? And then have Redemption at like 28 minutes comparatively. So that's the build path I like to go on this champ. Maokai on a solo adventure doesn't flash the flip. Look how weird this is. Here's a way to here's a visual to give you like an idea of how the flip works a little bit. So you're kind of gonna dash to the enemy like when you have it up, and that's a considerable amount of distance. This dash range. That's about 3 Teemos of a dash, 2.5 Teemos of a dash range. Okie doke, so we're going to do Dragon. The enemy's probably not going to contest. Everything goes back to normal. Lanes go back to farming as they should. Jhin staying in lane. Okie doke, Twisted Fate ults. The Jhin trying to get the ward off does. If I was a little crazier, maybe I'd W behind the wall, but I'm really just playing to explore the champion rather than like cheese the enemy right now. Okey-doke. So then I ping my Kai'Sa to come do the golems. Since Olaf's topside, we have no eyes on Evelyn. Vladimir has TP. Like, we have no business really like taking a fight all the way into the enemy bot lane. And if things take too long, then we're just going to come back to a lane that the Maokai and Jhin is trying to push. And then that's okay, because we can hold the wave on them. This also gives Kai'Sa like access to more gold that she otherwise wouldn't have. If you have champions like Ivern, other tank junglers, for example, you can look to take golems and Gromp in such a way because Rell can tank them. I took like no damage from the golems. Okie dokie, Maokai getting permanently banned. Walking around with my jungler trying to find something, really just shooting in the dark, hoping for the best, trying to get rich, living on a prayer, things like this, you know. In this case, I got Merc Treads. The enemy has Maokai, Vladimir, and Evelyn. Psych, I don't get Merc Treads. That's right, better build. It was just a joke. So in the mid game, you don't have to look to like do a lot on Rell because there's not a lot to do. Any fight you have to work through your allies. So by what I mean, like, don't look to do anything, I mean don't look to W into the enemy like a psycho. Look to work with your allies and then ask yourself like what your allies want to do. Hey! We take bot lane turret. We get wards in their blue side. We farm mid lane. Okie doke. We're a bit too far up mid lane. Olaf's being crazy. Twisted Fate ulting in. Gets Evelyn ult. Honestly kind of worth. I'm really looking at the Zed on the Kai'Sa here. Because I'm playing to protect the Kai'Sa, not to like attack the enemy. What's really nice too, if the enemy has champions that dives onto your team, like I'm binded to the Kai'Sa here, so if Zed like does some crazy shit, tries to flash on top of her, I can E, and he's stunned. That's so crazy. I can E, and then I can W ult. You can cast your E and your ult during the W animation, so he's in a bad position from there, basically. And then if he's like super fed, I could still have exhaust, you know. And then when I'm near the Kai'Sa, then she can get Guardian as well. Okay, Vladimir really overreaching. Olaf going in, going absolutely crazy. I bind it to him, but I'm rooted, so I can't really get in there. Okay. Jhin ult, Vladimir Maokai dead. Kai'Sa goes in, I bind, I W, I lock it. Evelynn doesn't have ult, so it's actually not that crazy. So we win the fight, and then we get Dragon. Go back to farming. Always go back to farming. And by go back to farming on support, I mean walk with your ADC so they're not farming a side lane solo. After we take Dragon, it doesn't matter to get wards anywhere on the map, especially against an Evelynn. Whoa! Whatever that was. I run these files off a hard drive, and honestly, I kind of miss the stuff where it's like you could get crazy artifacts on like videos. Remember playing something like Windows Movie Maker, and you'd get something like that? Like, if I play stuff off my SSD, it's not like that. And it loads faster, too, but, like, you're missing out on the good stuff, on the crazy pixels. Here, I'm super overreaching. There's no reason to do this. Auto attack. W. Ult. He still has pool. But it's very interesting to see, like, he can't move away. Let's watch this in slow-mo. Okay, so like watch him try to move away with my ult going. But if he had phase rush up, then this wouldn't matter at all. It's an interesting look at the ult with a little bit of artifacting. Brought to you by my hard drive, oldest time itself. Kidoke. So whenever you fail a random fight in the mid lane, leave. If one ally stays, it's fine. Don't stay with them. Just keep leaving. Go all the way backwards. The further you go backwards, the more likely your allies are going to go backwards, and then nobody has to die trying to save. All the dummies don't have to die together, basically. Dope. W, flip, E, Q. Thanks, Shin, but I don't think I needed it. Dope. Kind of a whole lot of nothing. Olaf and Shin. Everyone doing it without me. My champion's doing nothing here. But they are kind of fed because of me. I would like to think. We do the Baron. We get it. Redemption completed. Now, 23 minutes redemption. That's pretty good. I could also have Merc Treads and then a Kindle Gem and Forbidden Idol. Think about it. Or I could just have a completed redemption. Now, all 23 minutes up until this point, I don't think having Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads would have made a difference. At all. At all. Whenever I'm jumping on that Vladimir mid lane, does Merc Treads do anything? No. So I get him! If you have the active from Lock and Redemption 2, it's just like... It's such insane gold value. Whenever you bind to your ally with E2, it doesn't proc Guardian. I'm trying to be a hero. We all are. Okay, so we're kind of stagnant. We're using a bit of the Baron duration because of... Or the Baron's like slowed down because of Zed. Kidoke, I'm asking Zed if he wants to come into my Kai'Sa. He's saying, no, I don't. They start a fight in the mid lane. Boom! And I can't land. Like, you're never going to land the E. If I flash there, I land it, though. Think about it. Okie doke, and run it down mid, right? I'm using the W just to see what they do. if they move into me, I can use my ult and then E, and my team can follow up. And then I also am like buying my my W flip cooldown as we're taking this inhibitor. So a play like that's not going to work out unless you have like a Kaisa who can go in afterwards, because the enemy can obviously just get out with like a million. Especially in Season 11, everyone's going to have like 3 dashes, so. Big flip, I guess. Vladimir, you're going to use pull? So yeah, that's a game on Rell in which I didn't totally run it down for once, so. Great stuff, great stuff. If you like videos like this, please subscribe. Check out the description for coaching information. If you're interested in that, current price is $10. Check it out. Alrighty. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share this video to everyone you've ever known in existence. Thank you. Thank you. Big W, E, auto, Q, and that's the whole champion right there. Alrighty. Thanks for watching. See you next time.